It's time for mainstream madness.
Mark Smelly Bell here. You're going to see me breaking my sugar fast.
I like to think of it as the Buddy the Elf diet.
Sugar diet and sugar fasting are synonymous. No fat, no protein, no starch.
So sugar fasting isn't fasting from sugar. Well, actually, it's not fasting at all. It's eating lots and lots of sugars from non-starchy carbohydrates.
I'm still trying to stay jacked and hold on to as much lean tissue as I possibly can. And so every 2.5 days, I'm breaking the sugar fast with protein and with some starch, and then I'm reloading and restarting.
Right, because a diet consisting mostly of sugar and restricting protein and fats is not sustainable.
For some of you out there, you're going to have to do sugar fasting, and not only do sugar fasting, but you're going to have to almost basically do fruit fasting, where you're mainly having fruit and fruit juice.
Yeah, that sounds like a fruitarian diet. I wouldn't do that either. Or, do it. Find out for yourself.
I feel like I do not want to drink another fruit smoothie ever again in my life.
I still think that should be the majority of your diet, to be perfectly clear. Candy, pouring sugar on stuff, and honey and maple syrup. Yes, that can be the fun part of it. It's nice to sweeten things up.
You like sugar, huh?
Is there sugar in syrup?
Yes.
Then yes.
You have a bad habit of overeating and you know it, and you need to work on it. I'm in the same boat.
A lot of people are now defending it by saying that it is a tool to get some weight loss.
Though it can be part of a weight loss strategy because it can be part of the smelly protocol.
He's the one.
Which is every 2.5 days, you break your sugar fast with a lean meat, a starch, or some version of it like what I ate in this video.
This all just sounds very childish to me. I mean, I wouldn't do it. You can, though.
Okay.
Full day of eating, doing the sugar diet, aka sugar fasting. Sugar fasting is not necessarily a diet, although for some people they may choose to do it 100 days in a row because maybe they need to lose a lot of weight.
Diet means what one typically eats. If you're typically consuming just sugar, that's your diet.
But I am starting the day out with the sugar fast. So there's some different strategies and different ways that I've shared so far about how to do a sugar fast.
And there's no consensus on this.
You spend the first 16 hours of the day doing a sugar fast. Then later on in the evening, maybe you have lean meat and a starch. That's not actually part of the sugar diet or sugar fasting. Sugar fasting!
And the more I sort of listened to Cole and everybody sort of all got confused, everybody's putting their 2 cents in.
So many people have so many different ways of talking about this.
If we're talking about sugar fasting / sugar diet, we are just talking about some of the things I'm going to eat right now. Fruit juice, honey, sugar, candy, maple syrup. I think I hit everything there. So,
Oh yeah, you hit everything.
Yeah, apart from your amino acids and your essential fatty acids and your micronutrients, you might also get some fatty liver.
people are saying, where is CGM? They want me to do all these things for you guys to be the sacrificial lamb, but I don't really care that much about that stuff. What would I compare it to?
Well, you could compare it to generally accepted levels.
Anyway, let's make this breakfast bomb.
Yes.
I got dates, figs, some mandarin oranges, and a little bit of syrup, peaches, frosted flakes, and some of these other things that are up here.
And of course, including cereal in the diet means there's glyphosate on the menu too.
They're great.
But again, that's not part of the sugar diet. That's what all people want to eat, all these sugary sweet things. This would be in a category of being a starch. And remember, when you're doing a sugar fast, no fat, no protein, no starch.
Okay.
For now, we need this. Ka-ching! We'll get some maple syrup.
Hands up who thinks it's childish. Me.
Sugar fasting! Honey, apricot jam, dark cherries are amazing. And frozen mangoes right out of the freezer are amazing. Pineapple.
Fructose galore, which is great because we need fructose for so many biological reactions in the body.
Lee, we don't need fructose for any biological reactions in the body.
Oh.
One thing you got to realize, if you fill up a cup with a bunch of frozen fruit, it's not going to give you hardly any calories.
Yes!
Because it's going to take up a lot of space. You see, it's like a big old chunk, and that chunk's going to take up a lot of space. It's just not that calorically dense.
It'll also take up a lot of toilet space too. Awesome. Anyway, what's it taste like, Mark? Any good?
Mango. So I'll dump a bunch of these guys in. I like getting a good variety rather than just one fruit all the way.
Smart.
So some people keep talking about how they think this diet's so unhealthy. By the time you do a couple days of this fast, of this sugar fast, you'll be down a couple pounds already. And that's the healthiest thing for most people to do.
Smart.
Well, yeah, I suppose, unless you're underweight, of course. There's hundreds of ways to lose 2 pounds. Water weight, you could just do that. Or if you eat no carbohydrates and lots of meat, you can do that as well.
Like so many people in fitness, if they're not the weight that they want to be, they still want to lose another 10 or 15 and so on. And there's really nothing unhealthy about that. Carbohydrates are protein sparing.
Makes sense to me. Let's limit protein but eat lots of carbohydrates because it's protein sparing.
Yeah, because you're so worried about losing the muscle and losing the protein, you've restricted the protein. Yeah, that makes great sense.
Whenever you lose weight on any diet, you're always going to lose some muscle along with fat. Throw some cherries in here, but we got to throw juice in there. The juice is going to bring up the caloric density a lot.
Well, just as well we have a calorie transport chain then, isn't it?
Lee, no, that's an electron transport chain.
Yeah, I know.
Apple juice, canned peaches, pineapple juice. I'll take these peach halves right here. This is how you sugar fast. You do stuff like this. You just dump a bunch of sugar in there.
I think I'm getting the hang of this sugar fasting now, or this sugar diet. You basically just do things like this. I'm losing so much weight.
Like that.
Because you see animals do that all the time in the wild. They get their bananas, they get their mangoes, they get their watermelons, and they just can't eat it. It's not sweet enough. So they get a tub of sugar and tip it on there.
First thing in the morning as well, lowers cortisol.
We need calories. Be in a caloric deficit. That's not what we're trying to do on this diet.
I'm so happy for you.
And this is like the best tasting thing ever. Yeah, that's amazing. And I already threw pineapple juice in here too.
Great.
Just throw one in there to top it off. Get some of that sludge in there. We throw some sugar in here. Get some of that in there. Don't be shy with it. Get some of this in there. Beep.
Smart.
Some honey in there. The honey, I do try to buy raw honey. I don't know how big a difference it makes, but
Oh, I wouldn't worry about it, mate. I mean, you're only eating sugar and pesticides.
this has everything on the menu of a sugar fast because it has fruit juice, sugar. I actually didn't throw any candy in there, but I have candy right here that I'll probably have before I go work out today. So that's the only ingredient that's not in there. Here we go. There we go. We did it.
No, you did it all by yourself. What a good boy.
I'm a big boy.
Oh, there we go. That's perfect. Might want to invest in Jamba Juice because this diet's going bonkers.
He's out of line, but he's right.
2025 sugar rush. Sometimes I will just have like half of it and have another half later.
That is smart.
Voila. I love stuff that's sweet. And so if you don't love stuff that's sweet, then this diet might not be for you. I've had days where my tongue just felt gross. I had to keep like brushing my teeth a bunch of times.
If you don't like having a gross tongue, it's probably not the diet for you.
Durian Ryder says, let your tongue kind of guide you through the day. And I think it's actually a pretty good reference because things will taste so sweet where you're just like,
Yeah, the gross tongue struggle.
you're just done with it at a certain point. Some people have been reporting, having issues with their stomach on this diet.
If you don't like having stomach issues, then this diet probably isn't for you.
Be careful of things that are like, hard to put in a blender, like peaches and apples.
Potted plants.
Stick the plant in, that's good for you.
Yeah.
Lots of sugar.
Those are all great. Like I think that the apple skins and the cellulose, but it can sometimes mess up your stomach. Sounds ridiculous, but maybe just make yourself a warm glass of sugar.
That doesn't sound ridiculous, Mark. It's smart.
Dump a little sugar in there, or you can have a coffee. I know Cole is not really a fan of caffeine. Cole Robinson, snake diet wizard.
Sugar fasting.
And if Cole says, he is the sugar diet leader.
He's the one that kind of formulated this diet and brought all this stuff together. You guys see how excited I am about this diet? And I'm excited about it because I think it gives a lot of people hope. Fructose is like the key player in this whole thing. And that's what Cole Robinson's been saying as well.
And if Cole says,
Sugar fasting.
We hear fructose or high fructose corn syrup, immediately we think it's bad and unhealthy. And it probably is, especially when you're eating it with, in a standard American diet, it's awful for you.
Yes, but on the sugar diet, it's good because it doesn't cause more glycation for some reason. And it doesn't seem to reduce ATP concentration in hepatic liver cells.
You're not going to feel the need to down as much water, although you still need to drink water. Water is really important, by the way, for helping you to clear glucose.
right, we're eating lots and lots of glucose, but we also need to clear it with water. I mean, at least this makes good common sense.
The key is we don't want to dilute so much. People are addicted to water. They drink too much water a lot of times.
Oh, yeah. They're addicted to water, not sugar.
But basically, fats for the day are 0, and so is protein. So there's nothing to track there. Carbs are like unlimited. There's really nothing to track there either.
That is smart.
That would be one thing I would caution against, is like trying to blast your insulin levels to the moon.
No, we want to blast it to the sun and beyond.
That might not be a good idea.
Oh,
You feel like an energy surge. You feel like a euphoria. You also feel wired. So you have this like almost like angst, a little bit of anxiety almost.
Who doesn't want to have anxiety?
I want to feel wired.
So this other guy started a YouTube channel called Skeleton City, and he got all the way down to like 130 or 140 pounds. So he's literally in Skeleton City.
Smart.
He made a food pyramid, and it's a tiered system that shows you different levels of the sugar diet.
So, like a food pyramid.
And tier 1 is for your fastest weight loss. It just keeps getting dirtier and dirtier, and you go all the way down to tier 5 when you're like off the rails.
Great.
I think sugar fasting is superior because it's a way to get the same results or better results than if you fasted, but you don't have to fast.
Sugar fasting.
Genius.
Yeah, why didn't I think of that?
No one really gives a shit about that. Everyone's here for this. Everyone's here for the candy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's here for the jelly beans and all this stuff. Interestingly enough, I like candy.
Yes.
I like having like a decent amount of those in there, and then every once in a while I end up getting one of the Sour Patch Kids in there too. And sometimes they're stuck together.
Well, if you're lucky.
If I'm lucky. Every time I eat any sugar, I immediately go brush my teeth.
Yeah, and that way you can rub the acid into your teeth.
You don't want any problems with your teeth. You could get completely shredded with these types of sugars because fructose is gonna burn. And it's gonna launch your FGF21 through the roof.
And the best part is it's a superfood for your liver.
Lee, no, that's...
Some of us are inconsistent sometimes, right? So that was always my concern with carnivore. It's like, well, what happens to people when they're inconsistent? When they're trying to carnivore, they carnivore for 3 days, but then they fall off. They carnivore for 3 days and they fall off. To me, that sounds like a recipe for disaster. It sounds like a recipe for diabetes and heart disease.
I think he's got a point. So Sour Patch Kids and fruit, it is.
Sugar fasting, sugar diet is a revolution. You've never been able to eat like this before.
Well, we have, but both you and Cole have showed us the way.
Thank you.
All right, going to show you guys some stuff I'm going to eat later today. Again, this is not part of the sugar fast. This is just part of a day off. Our lean ground beef from Piedmontese. So I'll be getting some good nutrients from here. Grass-fed, grass-finished.
Good nutrients from beef? Get out of it.
You're having a laugh.
Oh, here's the pasta. Boom. I'll be making that up today.
That's more like it.
I might also have some salmon.
Salmon? What do you want to do? Nourish yourself?
Post-workout, I'm going to mix this and some rice. I'm going to throw it in a bowl and eat it up. My friend Joe was recommending it to me, but he told me to use chocolate frosted flakes, which I don't have.
Don't worry. They've both got glyphosate.
This is the whey protein vanilla with a bunch of chocolate hydration. Shake that up and then dump it all into a bowl together.
That is so smart.
So we're breaking the sugar diet fast. How do you break a sugar fast? I'm going to show you right here today.
Yes.
I'm going to do banana steak shake, a scooper. You got whey protein. You have beef protein isolate along with collagen and egg. And you also have liver, kidney, heart, spleen, pancreas in there as well.
What a good boy.
I'm a big boy.
And now, the biggest difference with the diet moving forward here today, after this kind of post-workout meal, is it's not going to be centered around so much sugar.
Are you sure about that?
Maybe, for this meal, I'm still slurping this down, which had a lot of sugar in it. Obviously, these guys have some sugar. Okay, but these are starches as well.
That's more like it.
And I know some people are like, well, what about the gluten and all that stuff? As I used to say when I was powerlifting, the gluten's free.
Yes. Didn't even have to pay for it. With money anyway.
That's why it's called gluten-free.
No reason to be too concerned about that if it's something that doesn't really mess with you. Oh man, there's a pile of sugar at the bottom.
Yes.
I want it to be like on the rice. How about that? That seems pretty good. Adding some steak shake, adding some this whey protein, and just cause, add a little bit of honey.
Smart.
Super golden crisp, frosted flakes. This is the whey protein and some honey. It might be an overstatement, but I think this is the best day of my life.
I'm so happy for you.
Having this discovery. So this is how you break your sugar fast. You do it with something that tastes awesome.
Sugar!
Da, 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 da.
Even Ken Berry weighed in on the sugar diet and he had some funny comments. If you like fruit and sweetness and you want to lose weight and feel great, no more having to eat excess fat and protein, then sugar fasting is for you, ladies and gents. Now, this particular individual gives us an update. So how's she getting on the sugar diet?
So I've been doing the sugar fast on predominantly fruit, and I have still added some sugar, but I've been doing mostly fruit smoothies, and weight has just not been coming off. I started thinking, well, maybe I shouldn't be having all this sugar. I feel like I do not want to drink another fruit smoothie ever again in my life. So I just caught up on Cole's live yesterday.
Sugar fasting!
And I'm really pleased to see that he is encouraging the candy and the soda and the hard-hitting sugars again.
Smart.
So pleased to hear that now Cole says we can get back on the candy.
And if Cole says, he is the sugar diet leader.
Sugar fasting!
But yeah, it's just really positive that people are now getting that message again.
And this sugar diet, it's so great. Someone that was pushing it only 4 weeks ago, though, they're having a bit of a problem. Here's what she said.
I do have a sinus problem. I believe it's a blockage right in here and up here. I have found that I get run down kind of more easily right now. It's like if I do too much, like my eye will start to hurt.
Of course, you can't really see the damage it's causing straight away because fructose doesn't show up on a glucose meter. And of course, fructose is 7 times more glycated than glucose, but why worry about that? All that body fat's coming off. It doesn't matter, does it?
I gotta be honest though, I'm not eating any added sugar right now. Sugar is a supplement, not a food group. You have a foundational diet of whole foods, fruits that I eat all during the day, starches, and it's carbohydrate based.
In fact, Lee, it shouldn't be called the sugar diet. It should be called the protein restriction diet because it's the protein restriction which is causing FGF21 to increase. That also happens when you have high fat with low sugar and low protein.
I painted a picture of a butterfly.
Good. I'm going to hang up then.